tuning in to the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, everyone, all of you fierce and fabulous fans of America's Next Top Model. Welcome to our exclusive chat with the winner of America's Next Top Model Cycle 22. We have live in our studio, Nyle. Hi, Nyle. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Well, welcome back, first of all.
Yes, well, it's good to be back
now
in this room.
Yes. Now, the first time we talked, I had no idea I was already speaking to America's Next Top Model. How does it feel now that everything is out and you've been announced?
Well, I just feel finally good. I can tell the world. It's difficult to keep that secret, especially after 7 months.
Yeah.
And actually to be a deaf winner also, I have to say it's definitely inspirational.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I would be able to keep a secret like that. If I won something, I think I would have to tell somebody.
Exactly, and I wanted to the day after, but I thought, no, I decided I flew to Hawaii for 3 weeks. I think that helped me just to get away. Yeah. And when I came back, I could just hit the ground running. See,
that was a smart move. I would have to go somewhere too, just so I'm not in communication with anyone and I can totally be by myself.
Exactly. It definitely helped.
Yeah. So let's talk about the finale and all the emotions and adrenaline that was going on. How were you feeling leading into the final runway and your presentation? How were you feeling about the competition at that point?
Well, I have to say I had butterflies, and I've experienced butterflies before, but nothing to that magnitude, and I wasn't quite sure if I was going to make it through the whole thing. I was hopeful, I wasn't going to be eliminated because I felt like it would be a waste, all the way from the beginning. And during my presentation, I felt very confident with it. But the runway, I'm pretty good with, I was fine with, but it was the idea of being last and to end my journey that way, and I thought, I better win this.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of different emotions going through me at that time.
Yeah. And one very emotional moment that we saw with you was the reveal of your photo with your mom. What was it like having her be present for what was happening to you at that time?
Well, it was amazing. My mom was able to be there, and not only just because she's my mother, but also because I finally could actually use my own language on the show. Because for the whole 2 months, I didn't have access to language. And so I was able to have that relationship and converse with her. And I didn't feel like I was behind. I could actually have my mother there. Then when I had the photo shoot with my mother, it meant so much. I mean, the photo was insane. It was amazing. Definitely going to blow that up for my mom for Christmas.
Well, your mother was strikingly beautiful, and she kind of looked like Barbra Streisand just a little bit. So I'm glad it turned out well.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people were saying.
Yeah.
Definitely, and which is good.
So now you have kind of two iconic photos. You have the one with you and the husky, and now the one with you and your mom.
Exactly, those two shots, and I think the doll photo, that wasn't too bad, right?
Yeah,
all three of them were pretty insane photos. I think the best photos throughout ANTM.
For sure, yeah. Well, that photo may be for other reasons that I probably can't announce right now.
Right.
So a lot of fans saw you as a front runner for the show from the beginning, and I think we talked about this a little bit the last time. Did you feel pressure going into the competition, and especially being deaf? Did you feel like a lot of pressure going into it?
Right. I feel like that was double burden. As I had definitely had a triple worry. I had a lot of different anxiety occurring. I could be good, but I felt like that deafness and being involved on the show, there wasn't that much involvement I could have. So I thought I was going to be eliminated because of that. So I tried to involve myself as much as possible and do well on the show. So it was definitely a double burden. Yeah. I don't think the other models experienced anything like that.
No, not at all. Were you ever worried during the competition that you were going to be eliminated and that you wouldn't fulfill the role of America's Next Top Model?
Yeah, well, at the very beginning of the competition, I thought, just looking at the other models and everybody was good looking and beautiful, I thought I'd probably be eliminated pretty quick because I'm new at this. And then when I started winning, that's when I thought, I'm legit here. I think I can win this whole thing.
Yeah. Now, we talked a little bit last time about all the drama that was in the house and how you stayed away from it. But you also kind of had a partner in crime staying away from the drama as well. Miss Lacey you were very close with Lacey, and we had her here yesterday.
Right, exactly. Yes.
We have to talk about the infamous cabin.
Bring it on.
The infamous cabin situation. I found out yesterday that Mikey and Mame weren't the only two cuddling and canoodling in the cabin. Would you want to share some insight on that too?
Well, yeah. I won't lie. Lacey and I did kiss under the covers. It was pretty funny because if you watch it again, you would see me looking over to Mikey and Mame. And they saw me laughing. The reason being is because I thought at that moment, they're stealing the show. This is a good thing.
Yeah.
Nobody knows that we are actually doing anything. It was all about them.
Yeah.
So that was a big advantage for me, for sure.
Well, one thing I don't think a lot of people realized on the show was that you and Lacey were, close, but you guys were cuddling in that tire suite a lot while the other drama was happening. So how did you guys keep that under wraps?
Well, while we were in the tire suite, we didn't do too much. It was just a lot of cuddling, because we're good friends and we do like each other.
Yeah.
But we just wanted to keep it professional and we wanted to focus on winning because, eventually we knew, we're going to be up against each other. So that was the goal.
Well, I do want to point out that Lacey did say that she does have a boyfriend now. So many of you are hoping for Nacy, but Nacy are just friends.
Exactly. Yeah, I heard that her boyfriend was getting some backlash. Like, no, you can't be with Nyle. So, but we are definitely just friends.
Okay, good. So, for those of you who are watching, the record is set. Nacy are just friends.
Exactly. Just friends. Friends.
Okay. So now back to the competition. Now that we got some of the dirt out of the way. So in the finale, you had to discuss your presentation. What was that like, kind of having to go in front of Tyra and say what you would do if you won Top Model?
Well, there were a lot of burns going on at that time and a lot of promises I needed to make that I could check off my list. And I need to make sure that I kept those commitments. And I know what my future is going to be. It's very reasonable, and it should happen for my future and for my career.
Yeah.
And I was nervous at the same time because the three judges are standing right there, and I'm up against Mikey, and I'm not quite sure if I was going to be eliminated or I was going to be staying.
So how did you feel when you were one of the top two people and moving forward in the competition? How did you feel then?
Well, I have to say, it was such an honor at that time. I got a little teary-eyed because I think that oftentimes there are some deaf people that do different competitions on other shows or other reality shows, but they never win. I think in the producer's eyes, a lot of times being on the show is winning in itself, that they don't actually have to win the whole thing. That's not true. I mean, it means so much more if you actually win the whole thing.
Yeah, and
I think that actually applies. Sorry, and I think that applies to pretty much any other minority. I think that applies to all minorities.
Yeah, and going into this competition, I mean, there was everything surrounding the fact that you were deaf and that you were representing the deaf community. Was that pressure for you as well to kind of now be this face for the community?
No, you're right. It's definitely, being the face of the community, of the deaf community, which I'm very grateful for, and I'm willing to be the face of that community because I know I can represent them well. And, being raised in deaf culture and knowing it throughout, I would be good representation of that.
Yeah. And now, how has the community embraced you now that you are America's Next Top Model?
which is actually rare because a lot of times in the past, the community doesn't like how other people have represented them. And I'm very fortunate in that regard because, being raised in deaf culture really helps me because I don't know anything other than that. I'm just fully ingrained in deaf culture. So they're very supportive. A lot of videos of people being surprised and excited when they found out that I won. So it's amazing.
Yeah, I think you definitely had a lot of people rooting for you, not only, because everyone says that you're very striking and very handsome, but just because you were just an inspiration to those throughout the competition.
Definitely. And that's true.
Yeah.
And I think it means more to me. There's more to me than just my look.
Yeah. So let's kind of dive into that because there's a lot of people, again, focus on the fact that you are deaf, but, what should we know more about you other than that?
Well, I think, a lot of people would realize that I'm much more intelligent, and a lot of people didn't appreciate that, They, want to know your culture, but there's a lot more to me than just that. I have my personality. I have a lot of things that are within me, and a lot of times people miss out on that.
Yeah. And we definitely saw that, especially during your presentation and what you plan to do afterwards. So I think we definitely took away that you definitely have a business mindset.
Exactly. And I do have a business mind, and I have a business plan too.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing to have.
Now, speaking business-wise, we did see that one of the things, and you kind of presented it on the show, but it kind of came into fruition. We have the ASL app now.
Right.
So talk about that and explain that to people.
Well, during the show, we had a pitch session, and my pitch to them was to develop an ASL app. And then right after the show, I wanted to make it happen, and I hoped that I'd have it released on the same day that show would air. So that would be a great impact, and it would be a great surprise for everybody.
Yeah.
And I was able to partner with the ASL app and became one of their signers and worked with them. And there's over 800 signs that you can download. So we launched it the day of that episode. So it was definitely inspiring.
Yeah.
And I was shocked, that I followed through with that whole plan. And I think that I might be the only one who actually did that actually released it on that episode.
Yeah. Well, see, again, showing how smart you are because not everyone has it together.
Exactly. Yeah, you just have to follow through, right?
Exactly. So speaking of following through, what things are you now hoping for to do moving forward?
Well, professionally, I'm hoping to sign with some agencies. Right now, I'm trying to figure out because it's going to be the best fit. And I have some interest right now, but that's both for modeling and acting. And hopefully I'll be working with larger brands, clothing companies. So we'll see what happens with that. And my personal goals, I'm a spokesperson for Lead K, and it's a language equality and acquisition for deaf kids is what it stands for. And it's basically oftentimes when children are born that are deaf, they try to teach them spoken English. And once you are deaf, that means that your primary language should be American Sign Language. And so we want to make sure that we have equivalency both in American Sign Language and English. So when they're in kindergarten, they're going to be academically ready.
Yeah.
So little things like that are very important because for me, being born deaf, I had American Sign Language access when I was a kid and English. So that's why I've been so successful because of that.
Yeah. Now, and also along with that, you also have Grip Bell that you just kind of revealed as well, coming out next year. Tell everyone about that and what that's going to be.
Well, I wish I could say more, but Grip Bell is basically, it's a product that's going to be hitting the market, but the kind of product you might have to kind of guess what that is, kind of what you will be releasing a series. I believe it comes out on January 2nd.
Okay.
So,
well, we see some familiar faces in that campaign as well, a lot of alum.
Exactly. And you can see it on their website. You can see some of the models who are on the show are definitely on it. So we're excited to have that released.
Yeah. So you guys make sure you watch out for that. And if you guys are watching live, which we have about 80 people watching us live now, if you have a question, make sure you put it in our chat and I will be glad to ask Nyle for you. Now, those who are asking for marriage proposals or anything like that, I can't ask him that, but I'll be happy to ask anything else. Although last time I did say that I would be willing to play matchmaker for you if you would like for me to do that. I'm also an ordained minister, so we can get that happening too. And for those of you who are watching and you're wondering about that familiar voice, it is Ramon, who was on the show with Nyle as well, so I want to give a quick little shout out to Ramon as well.
Shout out.
So one of the questions that we do have, Allie wants to know, for whatever reason, what color socks are you wearing?
I'm wearing black socks.
So
Standard,
Allie,
right?
Well, yeah, I mean, very standard. I guess maybe they thought you would wear like a crazy pair of socks. I have no idea.
I do have some crazy socks, but not with me right now.
Another person asked, in your presentations, you said that you wanted to pursue a master's degree. What would your major be and why?
Well, originally I wanted to pursue public administration, but I think right now I'm going to change that to marketing.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I wouldn't mind owning my own business down the street, and I think that marketing would be a good match for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, marketing. Hopefully I'll be able to go back soon before it gets to be too difficult to go back.
Yeah, and I saw that the university that you went to, they tweeted you as well, and they're very proud of your accomplishments and what you've done.
Yes, very supportive. And, I'm representing that university because the university at Gallaudet is a deaf university,
Mm-hmm.
so it's only deaf students. There's a few hearing students, but
Yeah.
it's the only deaf university in the world, so I'm definitely representing them.
Well, I feel like a full scholarship is in place for you, so someone needs to make that happen.
Okay, or an honorary PhD. That would be nice.
There you go. Just bypass the master's degree and get that honorary PhD, and you are set.
Exactly.
So let's see. Philip wants to know, how would someone learn how to sign their own name?
Well, that's actually a good question. Oftentimes, a sign name has to be given to you by a deaf person because the name sign usually coordinates with your personality. So it correlates that way. So it's kind of like how we sign. It's hard for a hearing person just to come up with a sign on their own. For
Yeah.
your name sign, it's a deaf person that usually gives it to you. For now, you would just finger spell it.
Okay, so now that we've met twice, what would you have to give me my sign name? So what would it be? I mean, it can be pretty.
I'm thinking.
It can be pretty interesting, I'm sure.
I think the first thing that I'm thinking about is Tony, because of the fact that you are a reporter, and this is the sign for a reporter, is reporter. So maybe this because of the mic, so
Yeah.
back and forth. So I think your name sign is Tony.
Bam. I'll take that. Or
Tony it is.
It could have been real sassy though.
You could sass it up if you want. You can make it fierce.
Now, I feel bad because the last time you were here, you taught me a few things and how to sign a few things, and I totally forgot how to do it. So let's go over again just some basic sign things.
Nice to meet you.
Okay,
Remember
but-
that? Nice.
Nice
to
meet you. Okay, I remember it. Wait, I did it wrong. Nice to meet you.
Perfect.
Okay, and then how are you?
How are you?
Okay, I have to give myself more credit because I actually did kind of remember that a little bit.
Perfect. I hope everybody out in the audience remembers that also.
Yes. So you know what? They should tweet you videos of what we just learned just now.
Yes, and I've seen some of those, and I'm inspired by those. So I wish I could respond back to everybody, but
Yeah.
I'd love to see them signing.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's overwhelming now, especially that you are the America's Next Top Model. I'm sure your Twitter and social media is quite overwhelming right now.
Yeah, it's a constant feed, so I'm trying my best to interact with the fans because I do think that's important.
Yeah, and I know the fans have definitely embraced your win, but like, what are some of the positive feedbacks that you've been getting since you've been named the winner?
Well, I think that some of the positive feedback has that I've appreciated is how I represented myself on the show.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that it's a reality show, and they thought that I behaved appropriately throughout the show. I was mature. I was very driven.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what I wanted to represent, and I think that's what models should be. Your role models.
Yeah.
You know, you need to be a model and a role model entwined in one.
Yeah. See what happens when you stay away from the drama on a reality TV show? You end up winning.
Yep. That's why Devin went home.
Okay, so speaking of Devin, I had the pleasure of chit-chatting with him, and we talked about this before. He's quite an interesting person. What's your take on Devin?
Well, I have a lot of different perspectives. I do love him,
Mm-hmm.
but other days I was annoyed by him.
Yeah.
But I think, Devin is all kinds of people. All different kinds of traits in one. He's still a good person.
Yeah, he's like a chameleon. He just changes a lot.
That's a good description, exactly.
Coming in with more questions in our chat room. Rachel wants to know, what was the most challenging photo shoot on the show for you?
I would probably say the most challenging photo shoot was kind of obvious, the night shoot for me.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't challenging because I knew I could do it, but I just wish we had a better, accommodation, maybe because the flashlight was too small and I couldn't see it.
Yeah.
And we tried banging on the box, but there wasn't a good rhythm that was going, so I couldn't work with it. And I think that maybe glow-in-the-dark gloves might have helped.
Yeah. Something. Did you get worried during that challenge that maybe they were going to send you home?
Well, yeah, I was worried definitely that I could have been sent home because I think that was the top 5 and I couldn't afford to make any mistakes, obviously.
Yeah.
But I was fortunate. Devin went home instead.
I think a lot of people were very happy that Devin went home during that challenge.
Right. I think so.
And when they brought in your moms, which I feel like was still one of my favorite episodes of Top Model, how did that feel, especially being this far into the competition and now kind of having a little piece of home? How did it feel to see her walk through the door?
Well, as I mentioned before, it was nice to have her there and able to use my own language. It was nice to have that interaction. But I thought, this also could screw everything up because I need to focus and my mother's here.
Yeah.
So, but during the photo shoot, I definitely think it helped that she was there throughout the competition, and I ended up winning, and she killed that photo shoot.
Yeah, she definitely did. How did she have a good time at in LA and with the experience? Because I'm sure it was probably a lot for her to get pushed into.
Yeah, she definitely learned a lot on set, and I think that was nice. Because she was able to see what I was doing for work. She's seen other modeling shoots, but it was nice to actually see her there on set, and she learned so much while she was there.
Has it hit you yet that you won Top Model and that you're also the last Top Model? Has it hit yet that all this is happening?
Well, when I won, of course, the first thing that I was thinking was oh, I'm a deaf winner. I won the whole thing, and this is going to change the world. And then when I found out I was going to be the last winner, that just redefines that whole experience, and that's a good tagline to have. That you're the last winner is Nyle DiMarco, who's deaf. It's amazing.
And one thing I liked, Tyra did mention that, you weren't chosen because you were deaf, but you were chosen because of your work in the competition. How did you feel when she made that comment towards you?
Well, it was definitely inspiring because, I've been trying to send that out there. I always say that to myself. It's not because I'm deaf, but it's nice to have somebody else validate it for me and somebody who is hearing also on top of that. It was nice, and I think when Tyra said that, I was so thankful that she said that to the world, that I didn't win because I'm deaf, it's because I'm good.
And I mean, and there are people, unfortunately, who do feel like, the reason why you did win was because you were deaf. How do you deal with...
I'm sure.
How do you deal with those comments?
The best way really, truly is to ignore it, so that's what I do.
Yeah. When you see the photo of you and Tyra, which... is always my favorite part of Top Model, to see that last final photo. What feeling did you get from that?
Well, I have to say, when I first actually had to model with Tyra, I was so nervous because this is somebody who has so much experience, And so when we were working together, as soon as we were on set together, I felt that energy, it multiplied. And whatever poses we were doing, we just made them work together. It was a very strange feeling. It was amazing. And I thought I did well. And then when I saw the photo, I thought, wow, this is an amazing photo. We worked really well together. And I definitely want to keep that picture close to my heart.
Another photo that you can blow up for Christmas.
Exactly. A big photo.
Now, when was that photo taken? Was it taken after you were announced or sometime during the show?
No, actually, that photo shoot happened during the Las Vegas trip. Yeah.
So at that time you didn't know that you were going to win.
No. All the models, we had a photo shoot with Tyra at that point, and then eventually whoever was going to be the winner, they would use that photo.
Yeah. Now, during the show, a lot of people deemed you as like their biggest competition. Was there anyone that you felt like was your biggest competition?
I think at the very beginning, when Mame had won 2 straight Tyra suites, I realized she definitely could be a competition. And then eventually when Lacey started doing well and started winning, I thought she's definitely my competition.
Yeah.
And I knew that the two of us would probably be in the top 2, Lacey and I, but then we went back to my original instincts. It was Mame.
Yeah. And I think with this top 4, it was definitely a tough decision. Like I told Mame in our last interview, I would not have wanted to be one of the judges having to decide who was going to win, because I would have just said, all 4 of you win, have a good day, cycle 22, we're out.
Right, exactly. It was definitely difficult, and I think a lot of people said it was one of the strongest top 4 in a long time.
Yeah.
And I do agree with that.
Do you think that Tyra is completely done with Top Model, or do you think that we're gonna get a surprise All-Star, which I'm kind of hoping for?
I don't know. I couldn't assume. I think it would be nice to keep this the last Top Model, but it wouldn't surprise me that something else comes down the road, but something different. I think that this has gone for 22 cycles, and I think that it's time for a new idea to come out.
So with your experience with the show and all that you've gone through, what advice would you give an aspiring model?
I guess my advice would be, be adaptable and be able to do that quickly. You can't take 10 to 15 minutes to adapt. In the modeling world, you have to do this in 1 second. So after you receive feedback, adapt. And I think in this industry, so cutthroat, you don't have time to wait.
Yeah. What do you think set you apart from everyone else when it came to doing the challenges and the shoots?
I think probably, my deafness, because it requires so much visual aptitude and be able to read body language. So I could read people very well, and I think that was definitely helpful when if a photographer wanted me to post something, I could adapt quickly because of that. And it also helped when I could see if the photographers weren't satisfied, I could do something different. I could immediately adapt because of that. So my deafness definitely was a benefit.
Yeah. Going back to the chat room, because there's so many people asking a lot of questions. One person wants to know, any moments on ANTM that didn't make it on the air? Besides your kiss with Lacey.
Well, let me see. It probably would have been nice to see some of the models signing. Some of them did actually sign. It would have been nice if they included more of that.
Yeah. Well, I did like the behind the scenes episode that they did, and when they showed the game show type of a thing with the makeovers and what you guys might have gotten, and like Miss J came out with the big like clown colorful wig and all that. I thought that moment was fun. I wish they had actually aired that on the show.
Exactly. And it was definitely funny, and I thought it was going to be in the show too, and I wish it would have made it. Yeah, but Devin, I have to say, was very funny at that time. He was hilarious. I wish they could have shown more of that.
And well, speaking of Miss J, what is it like working with him? Because I'm pretty sure he's a character in himself. So what was it like working on set with him?
I 100% love Miss J. I love him. He's just cool, smart, also gives great advice. And he always brings a very optimistic feel to the room, a good vibe. And I like working with him just because his energy is very upbeat. So it's definitely a big plus.
And Kelly seems very like strong, and by strong I mean mean. Is she like that in person?
Well, I have to say, I knew Kelly could come off as mean, and I was a bit worried when I came to the show. But I have to say, she loved me. I loved her. It was good, and it was a great. I was going to go with it. I think towards the end, she became a little more harsh, just because there was only a few of us, which is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think she's a good person.
And what about you, Sai? Because he pushed you guys to give more and do more and be better. What was it like working with him?
Well, I have to say, the best thing about Yutsai is that he has a belief in you, and which really helps, and helped me do better. I feel like he had a lot of faith in me, and I felt like it was a team, a collaboration with him, and he's a good photographer. Amazing.
Yeah. He always strikes me as just such an interesting person to work with, and like I feel like working with him, and if you listen to him, you'll definitely get a great shot.
Exactly, and that's what it was. And I think that the first thing that you have to do is just listen to your photographer, and if you don't listen, you're not going to be able to work, and that means you're not a team player. So therefore your photo is not going to come out, and you're going to be out of the modeling industry.
Exactly. So Aiden, Forevermore, wants to know, who is your inspiration?
Within the modeling world, I probably would say David Gandy, because he was the first muscular model in this industry, and and I think he broke that barrier, and we have a lot of similar, they say we look alike, and it would be nice to have that same kind of campaigns that he does. So I definitely look up to David Gandy.
You just made a bunch of people happy knowing that someone else looks like you.
Yeah, well, he does, yeah.
There, a lot of people in the chat room are wanting me to ask one of the questions that we talked about last time. That tweet that went out, and I don't know how you can keep getting away from that.
Right. Well, I guess my only answer is that it doesn't matter in the end. As long as you are happy and you love someone, that's all that matters.
Yes. So there you go. So you guys who are
exactly
buzzing
out there,
they are like buzzing that every question has been like, ask him about the tweet, ask him about the tweet, ask him about the tweet. And I've tried to look over it, but now there's starting to be more and more. So I was like, okay, fine. We're going to address it the same way we addressed it last time.
Exactly.
So there you go. You have your answer, and now I can stop sweating bullets off of that because chocolate melts. All right. So, were there? Someone wants to know: were there any moments on ANTM that made you cringe watching?
I guess being involved, making me cringe. I think probably was being so isolated on my own, and why did I ever put myself in that situation sometimes made me cringe. Maybe that would be it.
I felt like sometimes because people didn't take the time to learn your language, that you kind of felt isolated a little bit. Did you feel that a lot? Oh,
definitely. They probably could have put in a bit more effort to learn more about me, but instead they focused on the drama. And it's kind of offensive. Drama's not important. It's important to get to know people and know their background, their upbringing, and I think that that's more of a personal interaction, and it makes things more fun as opposed to drama.
Yeah, because there was a lot of unnecessary drama throughout this cycle, but this is what happens again when you stay away from it. You're able to focus on the competition and end up being the winner. Exactly right.
And it was nice, because you're on a reality show, drama could definitely affect your future within your career. So to avoid it was good.
Yeah. So for those of you who can't see, there are a couple people sitting in on our interview. Do you guys have any questions that you want to ask? Just let me know at any point in time. The camera won't cut to you.
I got a question.
Okay.
So obviously going on the show, your life changes from your daily life back in New York City or wherever you live. But did you have a moment during the show that you it was like an aha moment of like, wow, my life is never going to be the same?
Yeah. Do you want the moment that I felt like it would never change?
Yeah, like, or yeah, never be the same. Like, my life is totally different now. My life is...
Yeah, and actually it's a very good question. I think the photo with me and the husky, I think when that photo came out, I knew it was campaign worthy. And I think for me, I felt like that could have been, I could be a model for any kind of clothing line. And it's nice that I could use that in my portfolio, and I could actually show them that I can work as a model.
Very cool. Very cool.
Everyone is asking about your back tattoo. Do you have a tattoo on your back?
Yes, I do. I have a tattoo on the bottom right side of my back. My two brothers have the same tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the Cornello. It's a red Cornello. It's the little symbol that means good luck in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
And it has a ribbon wrapped around it, the color of the Italian flag, and then the name DiMarco, and then Corello, and then Lorenzo, which is our family lineage, our surnames.
Okay, because everyone kept
And
asking
I think
about
that goes
it.
for about, I've had it for about 7 or 8 years now.
Okay. Oh, and some of y'all tried it. No, he will not show it. Y'all are just trying to get him to lift up his shirt. See how people are? See what happens when you become a model? Everybody wants you to do crazy things.
There's some on the internet. Feel free to look it up.
Great. Now you're about to break the internet because everybody's about to go look for that photo.
I think I might tweet it after this. Look for it, maybe.
And then I'll retweet it for you guys. So you tweet it, I'll retweet it, and then they'll retweet it too.
Sounds good.
So with the success of Top Model, do you often get stopped in the street and people like want to talk to you, congratulate you? Like, how has that been?
Yes, definitely. I didn't expect that so much, but in New York City, I feel like in every corner I'm being stopped, and a lot of people know who I am, and I didn't think it would really be so prevalent, and it is. It's good, but at the same time, I'm like, I have to go late for something.
I always feel like it's so different because you go from someone who's able just to live your normal everyday life, and then suddenly something like this happens, and then now people know you. Does it make you kind of feel like you miss those moments, or like are you just embracing what you have right now?
No, truly. I mean, I guess half a year ago, I had a very normal life, and now it's vastly different. Sometimes I do miss it, but on the other hand, I feel like for the deaf community, I'm willing to do it.
Yeah. A lot of fans want to know, are there any TV shows on the horizon? Because we know that you've appeared in Switched at Birth, so they want to know if there are any other shows that you're after.
Well, since Switched at Birth is going to be picked up for season 5, they're writing it now, so hopefully they'll have me back on the show. I'm not sure when. Hopefully, we'll see.
Yeah.
And there's several other potential TV shows, so we'll see what comes down the pike.
Okay, well, you guys have to keep supporting him and letting them know that they want to see you on TV again.
Yeah, I need you more than anything.
If you had to pick, someone wants to know, Samantha Joy in our chat room wants to know, do you prefer modeling or acting?
That's always a difficult question to answer because I think right now I'm enjoying modeling a bit more just because I'm having a lot of fun with it and I'm getting a lot of networks from it. I definitely enjoy it.
Someone wants to know, and this is a very interesting question, was Bayo nice to you? From Brandon.
Well, the two of us have never had any beef with each other, so I guess we were nice to each other. We just kind of let things be. And
a lot of people want to know when you're touring. Are you going on tour with Oppo sometime soon? Oh yeah, the one that you won.
Yes, I'm actually leaving for Asia this Friday, so I'm going to be doing a tour with them, a 10-day tour going to Australia, Istanbul, and Vietnam, so I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, you're going to have a blast, I'm sure. And I expect souvenirs from all of those cities. I will forward my address, and I will let you know what I want.
Bring it my way. Can you tell me the address now? Come on air.
Well, not live on air because I don't want. Because just think, all of the people who are after you are going to be after me in order to get to you, and I can't handle all of that pressure. I can't.
Right. Well, we need a distraction. You can distract him for me, right?
Sure, only for a little bit. Now, if you bring food, I will let you know all of his whereabouts. I'll give you a schedule. I'll fly you out. Well, not me personally. I'll find somebody to pay it for you. But I'll give you personal information on how to contact you. Only if you bring me food, though. That's the way to weigh me down. So someone wants to know, what do you enjoy about living in New York?
I probably would say the food. You can't beat the food in New York, right?
See, now we can be best friends.
And I was born in New York, and I moved to Maryland and was raised in Maryland, but I know that the best food is in New York, but I didn't realize it truly until I went back to New York City and lived there. I've been there for half a year now, and whenever I travel to other states, I just think, wow, this is not New York food. And so I started to understand and appreciate the food in New York, probably.
Yeah. Now, with all of the things that you have won, being announced the America's Next Top Model winner, someone wants to know when your nylon spread is coming out. Like, what's going to happen now?
Well, I'm not exactly sure. It should be coming out anytime soon.
Mm-hmm. And how do you plan to spend your money that you have won? 'Cause that's a nice check.
I've already spent everything. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
Listen, I would have been right with you. Sally Mae would have gotten a nice check from me.
Right, exactly, right? There's that. I'm planning on doing some investing. Just invest some and save money for the long run.
Yeah, see, smart, because I would have bought like a KFC franchise or something like that with my money. So, free KFC for life. Another fan wants to know, how did you like the ANTM mansion? Because it looked great on TV.
Well, it was definitely very nice. It was luxurious. The best part of the house, well, two things. Now I realize there were two things. Was the hot tub. I loved the tub and the pool. The tub and the pool were probably the best part of the house. And I think Chris Brown bought that house. I think.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, now you know where Chris Brown lives, but I don't suggest going to visit him.
Right? I don't want to get punched in the face.
Exactly. So he said it, not me, although I was thinking it. So was it weird? Because when the show first started, you had like a bunch of people living in that house, and like, as it kind of dwindled down, did it seem very weird and just to be sitting there with just Mame and thinking like, wow, I'm one step closer to winning?
No, there are two funny things that happened. Just because it was definitely nice when there were less people in the house, because that means I'm in the competition longer. But it felt strange just because it became more competitive. But at the same time, it was nice to have more of an interaction, that human interaction, because we had more time with each other, and you could develop that relationship more. So I felt more involved. So it was a weird feeling because you came to a crossroads. It was kind of surreal.
Yeah. Did you see people change as the competition moved forward? Did you see some people change a bit?
Yeah. By the time we got to the top four, nobody was really speaking to each other. Nobody. Everybody was thinking, I want to win this. I don't want to talk to you. Right?
Well, I mean, I guess because it seemed like you guys were great and like friendly in the beginning, but I guess all of a sudden things just hit you and it becomes real that, oh wow, like I could potentially win.
Exactly. You're right. And that's definitely true. In the top four, I would look at Lacey, I know we're good friends, but at the same time, I'm sorry, I want to win this.
Yeah.
So that was the feeling.
Ooh, didn't sound like there was any cuddling once the top four was announced.
No, there wasn't. I don't think anything happened at that point.
Yeah. Well, since the show, what's the best advice that Tyra has given you?
There's two things actually probably have been the best advice. The first week when Tyra told me, never take no as an answer, especially for me as a deaf person. I know that I'm going to get a lot of no's that occur, but that, just means that other doors will open. And number two is how to channel your energy through photographs. And I think those were the two probably most important things, especially in the modeling world.
Yeah, I sometimes wish that I could be Tyra sometimes, because the way that she changes, like she's like, you do it like this, oh, then you do it like that. Like I can't do it, but I feel like internally I did just do it.
Right. Right. I'm sure there's a lot of people, including myself, that Tyra she's one of the top models that you've ever seen thus far.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Rachel wants to know, and I think we covered this a little earlier, how hard was it to keep everything a secret about your win?
No, it was definitely difficult. In the deaf community, it's such a small community, and I knew if one little thing leaked out, it would be everywhere in the deaf community. So I definitely had to bury it deep down inside. It was difficult.
Yeah, because you can't use that tactic of like, I'm going to tell you this secret, but you can't tell anyone else, because that starts a chain of events. Trust me, I know. I'm that person that will tell somebody else, but tell them, don't tell anyone else. Tried it.
Exactly, right?
So,
and oftentimes, when I was talking with other models, if they said anything, I was thinking about that because I couldn't in my community. It would be impossible.
So another thing that fans are asking about, there was something happened on American Airlines with like a closed captioning incident.
That is something we need to discuss.
Oh.
Well, what happened was, right? Drink up, right? So what happened was I was flying. It was a 7-hour flight, and I wanted to watch a movie.
Yeah.
But they didn't have any captioning. It wasn't closed caption, so what's the point? I couldn't watch anything for 7 hours.
Yeah.
And the person next to me watched 2 movies on this flight, and they could pass the time, and I didn't have access to do that. So I decided to tweet American Airlines to say, when are you going to be accessible for all people?
Yeah.
And then their answer to me was it was kind of like a cheap answer. They basically said, well, the captions, you would miss what's on the screen, and you wouldn't see the caption. I was like, wait. You don't even have captions to begin with, so fix it. So it definitely caused a lot of outrage, both in the hearing and the deaf community. So and so they're trying to work on it. They sent me a $100 voucher, but I'm not taking it. Sorry, not taking bribery.
Right.
Not going to happen.
Do you think that now you're able to kind of make people aware of things like that? Because I think we're not aware that could be an issue, but do you think that you're now in a place where you can kind of make people aware of things like that?
Yes, exactly that. I think that was another moment where I realized that I do have power. I can use it in a good way.
You're like Santa right now. I have a list for you of things that I would like, including a one-on-one lesson with Tyra Banks on how to smize properly.
Exactly that. Well, I don't know.
Well, Tyra, if you're listening, I would like that one-on-one, please, for Christmas. I've been a good boy all year. Some people can attest to that. So before we have to wrap things up, if you could describe your journey that you've been through, how could you sum it all up?
Well, I guess easily. I wrote a piece on my Facebook. It was, I guess, about resilience, and I think that defines my entire experience. On the show, feeling so isolated, not having language access, human interaction, but I still won the whole thing because I was resilient. Resilience helped me win. So that would be it, resilience.
Well, that's a great message to have, because you definitely have to have that in this industry. So,
Exactly. Yeah, very true.
Yeah. Well, now I am very excited and happy that you are Cycle 22's winner. And I wish I had known that when we first met, but I understand that you had to keep it a secret, and you were really good about that. I couldn't even tell, I didn't even know that when we met the first time that I was already sitting with the winner, and I was trying to figure it out.
Right. And I think that's why I'm an actor too, right? I guess a pretty good actor, right?
You are a great. Here you go. Here's your award for being a great actor. To you now, the best actor that I have come across in the studio. Well, now thank you so much for joining us today, and I wish you nothing but success. And I'm pretty sure that you're going to have a fantastic career moving forward.
Hopefully. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for having me, and thanks for my fans for being involved too. I definitely appreciate it. I appreciate this.
No problem. And if they want to stay connected, where can they find you?
The best, probably, business related.
Or like social media related. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Everything is at Nyle DiMarco on all of my social media, so you can find me there quite easily.
See, that's good, because some people have different names for different things, and it just becomes real confusing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not good marketing, not a good marketing strategy.
All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to my exclusive chat with the winner of America's Next Top Model, Cycle 22. I have been your host, Tony Morin, and of course, you can follow me on all social media platforms at Lounging with Tony or my website, loungingwithtony.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you very soon.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.